have it, some numbers there, begging answers. Food inflation, heading to 41%. World Food Program saying that 4.4 million people are insecure in the northeastern part of the country. And then you have OCHA saying 26.5 million people will be food insecure this year, 2024. 7 states at crisis level, according to World Bank. And then we have President Bola Tinubu had declared a state of emergency on food insecurity. That was in August last year. We're heading to about a year now. And we asked the question, what's the Minister of Agriculture doing? Well, we don't have the Minister of Agriculture. We would love to have him. We've sent word to him, but we don't have him yet. We do hope we will have the Minister of Agriculture to speak on these issues. For now, we have the Chief Executive Officer of Fortune and Class Limited, Dr. Niyi Akinshiju, joins us from our Abuja studio. Let's see, perhaps he can answer some of this question. Dr. Akinshiju, good morning and welcome to Business Morning.
It's a privilege. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So let me ask, we have those numbers. We have those from World Bank, from, World Food Program and all of that. Would you say Nigeria is food insecure or Nigeria is food secure at this time?
Well, I think the figures are clear. When you have up to 40.6% food inflation in a particular month, and I've been graduating actually over a period of 12 months, we can't say that in truth Nigeria is food insecure. It means that many numbers of Nigerians don't have access to cheap food and perhaps even access to nutrient-balanced food too. So that reality is true. It's staring us in the face, but it depends on how we're looking at it. We could look at it as from the scenario of an half-empty cup or from the scenario of an half-filled cup. My own consideration is that we might have gotten something wrong, in terms of the structure of the elements and stakeholders in the food production chain. The fact is that we need to go visit our constitution, look at the relationship between the tiers of government and how they are, how the responsibility for food production, for agriculture generally, is apportioned amongst the 3 tiers of government. So as far as I'm concerned, what we have now avails us of opportunities because, yes, food production, food inflation is high, but the basic fundamental philosophy in economy is that increase in price or high prices incentivizes production. So we just need to be able to do the right thing in terms of getting proper collaboration amongst the tiers of government, that those especially that are responsible, for food, for agriculture. And I am saying this because I know that in terms of the custody of land, the states are the ones that are invested with the mass of land, in the Nigerian constitution. And to a large extent, the local government, which is the 3rd tier and perhaps the closest, the community-based government, are the ones that are responsible to actually implement agricultural plans and programs, as it were. But we are not witnessing or seeing that, at play over so many years, in the country. So I believe that there's a limited things or limited contributions by the federal government or the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, because to a large extent, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture actually lacks access to land. And if you also look at a particular figure that says that out of the about 988,000 square kilometers of land, in Nigeria, all that mass of land are invested in the states. And going beyond that, we have 686,000 square kilometers of arable land. And you can also convert that to hectares, so, which tells us that we have about 78 million hectares of land. And out of this land, just about 44% are being employed, for agriculture. Now, what that tells you is that there's a deficient use, even in the land asset, which is the most important element or factors of agriculture. So I believe that there should be a deliberate relationship, cooperation, collaboration between the federal government, the state government, and the local government.
Yeah, it sounds like you're asking for another coordinating minister right there. Perhaps the Minister of Agriculture should be made the coordinating minister of food security, like we have for finance and the economy, we have for health. Because the truth is, Nigerians are hungry, foodstuffs are really expensive, and there are so many factors feeding into it. But we see the Minister of Agriculture as the person responsible to make this happen. So do we make him a coordinating minister? I know you mentioned the Constitution. Perhaps that will give him the power to be able to coordinate the resources, the land and the space and the skills and environment. Of course, I know there's also the issue of water, for farming. So are you towing that line? But we really need to eat now before we can change the Constitution.
Well, the truth of the matter is it depends. We have a federal system that is largely independent, of each other. That is, the tiers that are largely independent of each other. If the states, for instance, in their wisdom, decide to be territorial, with the power they have over the custody of land that is invested, by the Land Use Act, there is nothing the federal government could do. I believe, I've been an understudy of the federal government and, of course, the food value chain over the years, and I realized that the state government had actually abandoned their responsibility. What you require of the federal government, for instance, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, is to be able to avail farmers, seeds and seedlings, avail farmers products and outcome of research institutions. And I think perhaps I've not been hearing so much along that line, because research is important, to food. And of course, we are also trying to understudy the outcome of the current, or rather the new program on agriculture, technology and innovation. The federal government should be responsible for that implementation. But the context of that implementation still remains the states and the local government. Of course, everybody agrees to a large extent that the local government are non-existent. And where you have local governments that are non-existent, it means that the level, or rather the chain of either what the ministry, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is trying to distribute in terms of fertilizers or some other factors of agricultural input, may not get down to the grassroots. And that is the end point, the exit point of whatever intervention the federal government may be doing. Yes, we agree that if it is possible to have the Minister of Agri become a coordinating minister of agriculture or food security, it makes sense. But I am saying that it depends on the willingness of the states, to surrender, their rights over land, which is the most important factor of agricultural produce. So if that is not available, how do we get the minister? I mean, for instance, we have the 6 governors in the southwest coming together, to talk about intervention in the agri sector. Those are the kind of things we want to see. And of course, we believe that there will be a relationship between these 6 governments and the federal government at the level of the Ministry of Agriculture, where the Ministry of Agriculture will be willing, to support whatever they may want to do. This morning or yesterday, the good news of the 500 billion agric intervention as part of the economic intervention program of the president has also been muted. It means that there will be, over the next 6 months, there will be a 500 billion naira intervention into agriculture to ensure food production. But again, if there is no proper coordination, no proper collaboration between the federal government and the state government, I'm sorry, the scenario that I am seeing is not exactly exciting.
Supposed to lead that collaboration at this point? We do need solution, you know, so who's supposed to lead that? We know that some commissioners from the Southwest, as you mentioned, commissioners of agriculture have come together and all of that. Who's supposed to drive this, and what can we do really to get food on the table of Nigerians?
Well, we need to look at this strictly from the economic point of view. If we have 56% of our land mass yet, to be exploited, and perhaps the states, the tier of government that is in pole position to benefit from this are actually the states. So we believe that there should be an advocacy, and some of us had commenced this over so many years ago, that the states should actually see agriculture as a major exchange earner. Is that a major foreign exchange earner, and of course internal revenue earning platform. So if the states differently, understand the economies of agriculture and the opportunities availed them even at this point in time, the thing is just to drive into it. Now, we see that because of the devaluation, the depreciation of the naira, against currencies in the West African region, there's a movement, of Nigerian produced food into the region. And it does mean that we are earning, either directly or indirectly, formally or informally, the country is earning more from more foreign exchange from that interaction of demand and supply across the region. Now, that is an opportunity for the state, to consciously boost production, boost crop production as a means of earnings. We don't need state government don't need to wait till the end of every month to come to Abuja, to share. In fact, that should just be a supplementary fund for them. So yes, there may be need for a driver, but as it is, the law has given power, absolutely, to the states. And of course, we are also hoping that this law, if the state sees such opportunity, as a developmental opportunity, they would consciously again link up with the state, with the local government, because local governments have ministries or department of agriculture. In fact, I know that in each local government there's supposed to be a supervisory council for agriculture. And of course, it's the local government that can relate with the 40 million households that are involved in agriculture in Nigeria. So you have this bulk number of Nigerians that are involved in agriculture, but they are not being properly managed because of that linkage, lack of linkage, deficit linkage between the states and, of course, the local government administration. Those are either we like it or not, those are the things we need to address in the immediate.
All right, Dr. Nia Kishiju, thank you for that. And well, I guess we would also, I'm going to reach out to a couple of commissioners of agriculture, especially from the Southwest, to tell us the outcome of their meeting and also their own part of the responsibility. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, Nigerians just need food that is affordable and available. And we know that insecurity is a major driver in that. You didn't mention that, but we'll leave that for a conversation for another day. Thank you so much for your time. Chief Executive Officer of Fortune and Class Limited. Thank you.
A pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.